Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly collective reading. It's great to see you. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and we're going to take a look together at the next 7 days. Plus, we're going to look at a special topic today, which is the soul GPS, figuring out what the next move is, what's coming through. I think that's a great choice, by the way. And actually, before I woke up this morning, a big part of my dreams was a visit to the Akashic Records. Something that I don't actually normally do, but I was able to see like a librarian there. So we're going to talk a little bit about what this moment in time is opening up for you. Before we begin, again, Nicholas Ashbaugh here. Apollo is nicely, he just walked and now he's just chilling out in the background. So thank you for letting me feed him breakfast. As I said before, we're going to look at the next 7 days. We always start off with channeled messages, which for me, they come in both dreams and meditations. So let's get into those first, and then we'll get into the 7-day forecast. All right, so as I said, I was picking up on the ability to make a record, break a record, understand sort of what was going on in the past. And as we look at the special topic today, we'll try to look at cyclical things that you can shift. But let's talk about the slide first, and then we'll get into that. Okay, so let me just pull this up here, and we shall begin. All right, so if I can just find it, here we go. So the first thing here is to remind everybody that the future's not set in stone. We put milestones out there. We put these sort of goals, if you will. And there are certain things that we've kind of destined ourselves to experience, but how we deal with it and the ramifications of that sort of event, that's completely up to us. And that's what I was kind of learning with my brief stay in the Akashic Records. There's an owl that's going to come through too as a teacher of being able to see what others can't. And then there's also a need in this week in particular to speak up. Let's talk about the future being in motion and how I got this message. So in my dreams, what I noticed last night was a librarian. And basically, as I was looking at the librarian, it was almost like an old-fashioned sort of secretary taking dictation. They were listening and sort of typing or writing, like recording things out. But it was happening in real time. So the Akashic Records are basically a culmination of all the things that have happened in our previous lifetimes. And depending on when you hit that, sort of like if you were to travel into a future timeline, you could see what was happening there. But this was right here, right now. And what I liked about it was that the future's still being written, rewritten, or reimagined. And sometimes we feel like, we're just stuck or we're not going to be able to make something happen. And that's a self-fulfilling thought. So I'd like to challenge everybody to think in a different way, which is I'm ready to create a new cycle. I'm ready to break something that doesn't feel right for me, break the mold, set a new sort of foundation in place. And you can erase the past. That what's written is written there, but you can rewrite, you can reimagine, you can recast yourself in a new role. So I chose the Chariot here because it's a card that indicates needing to take the wheel and drive. Basically, it's a conductor type car. And I thought that this is something that could help all of us right now, is to understand that there's a lot more control, a lot more power, and a lot more ability to basically make things happen than we sometimes give ourselves credit for. We are co-creating our realities. So this is a time to really own that co-creation. Right after I saw this, then I woke up and I meditated a bit, and the first thing that came to mind was an owl, and I also got the energy of Athena coming through. So deep wisdom is the first thing here. What I like about owls is they have this ability to see when others cannot. It's basically shining a light in the dark, which is the hermit. And this is a time where people may come to you because of your keen insights on something. So it's a time to speak up, which is the next card. Let people know what your area of expertise is. Owls are swift and quiet, and this may be a time where it's advantageous not to put all of your cards on the table, to kind of just let people know what they need to know when they need to know, and sort of if there's something that you're working on that's really important, make sure that it's fully formed before you put that out there in the world. Certain types of owls are apex predators. The great horned owl is an example. What I like about this is when it sets its intention or its sights on something, it can get it. And so that focus and that clarity is also going to help you get what you need right now. Okay. They can also rotate their heads almost 360 degrees. It's about 270. So they're able to look in a lot of directions. And today's card, if you follow my daily reads, it was the Three of Wands in reverse, which was saying, look at things from a different direction. So it's very nicely aligned with that. Let's move on to the next card. I also saw a crow or a raven. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes in a meditation. But the main thing that I was thinking about as I opened my eyes was how loud they are. And that's not a bad thing. Basically, if you cross paths with any sort of corvidae, they have that loud squawk sometimes and they get your attention. And this may be a time where you need to speak up, speak out, articulate what it is that you need to sort of say to someone else. It's not a time to, if there's something wrong or if you need help on something, this is where the articulation is going to be exceptionally important, I should say. So, of course, these also represent messengers or connections to the past and to the other side. So this is a time to really be more attuned to those signs, those synchronicities, and those energies around you, which is why the owl and the crow are working in tandem. The owl is saying, look all around and look when others aren't and where others aren't. And the crow is saying, speak up and also listen. Communication works both ways. In the Suit of Swords, I actually think the Page of Swords is the best communicator because they're listening and they're thinking and they're kind of doing a little bit of both. They're speaking and listening, and you have to have active listening to really make things happen. So those are the main messages here. Again, the future isn't completely written. There are milestones in place, but you're co-creating, you're co-writing. You have the ability to see things that others cannot or will not, which is another sort of wrinkle. And that's going to be advantageous to you because it's going to set you apart from others. And it's a time to speak up, okay? With all of those thoughts together, let's go ahead now and take a look at the next 7 days. This is going to walk us through this Sunday to next Sunday. So welcome, everybody. If you just joined, perfect timing. Let's see what the cards have in store for the week ahead. And this is for everybody. There will be other parts of the reading that are sign specific, like the elemental forecast, but this part is for everyone present. Okay. Let's give the cards a good shuffle and see what's going on. And happy birthday, Dakota. All right, let's look at all of the cards I'm reading, chat. And what a nice way to kind of spend this with a nice community today. So, okay, let's get started here. Beginning with our crowning card here, which is today, we're looking at the Hierophant in reverse. The Hierophant in reverse is basically showing us the need to break free from previous molds, which is what we were talking about. Break a record, a broken record if it's something's on repeat. Also, basically standing out from the crowd and saying, "This is me. That take me or leave me." A Hierophant card is very much someone who is conforming, who is working with a hierarchy, who is sort of stuck in something that's already existing. And so today is a great day for you to show exactly why that doesn't kind of represent you. So break your schedule up a little bit. It's good to have a schedule, but it's also good to try something new. So if you're disorganized, it's a day to get organized. If you are feeling stuck in a rut, it's saying experiment, try new things, taste new things, go new places, basically add new things into the mix. And if you're in an environment that doesn't allow you to speak up or be yourself, then this is going to be a time where you really want to find your new tribe, find a place where you can be unique. Hierophant reverse has a little bit of rebellious streak to it, which I like. It's able to also create a new trend. It's a trendsetter, not a trend follower. So this is a day to just basically embrace all of those energies. Spiritual development and intuition are also connected to the Hierophant. So if you want to focus on intuitive development, today is a great day. All right, so moving on to the next day of the week, and I'll pull the week markers. Sorry about that I didn't have that a moment ago. Let me just move to the right screen here, and we'll make sure that you have it. So we're going to look now at Monday. Monday, we actually got 2 cards. Let's pull them up right and talk about them a little bit. All right, so I always like to look at the presenting card first, and then this is something that can either amplify it or distract it. So in the presenting card, we have the energy of the Emperor, which I quite like. And that's really nicely connected to this. This is someone who's trying to be your boss, and this is you being the boss. So some of you are just finding a voice and finding a way to sort of like be comfortable with stepping into power. Also notice how young this Emperor is. Being able to take the wheel and drive, it doesn't have to happen, at a specific time in our life. We're talking figuratively. So if you're taking the reins of control, you can be a young and wise person. You can be an old and wise person. You can at any point decide, I want to be the one that's sort of speaking up here. So a young Emperor there. I like that he's holding either a crystal ball or the world there. So he's got the insight from the High Priestess or the Two of Wands. We see bees around him. So this is going to be a busy week ahead. We can already see that. And people are ready and willing to follow, but you have to be ready and willing to lead. People like a strong leader, someone that has confidence. So I think that's one thing you can work on. Beneath the card, we got a bonus, the Three of Swords. Some of you could be afraid, what if they don't like me? What if I fail? Some of you might be dealing with naysayers or negative sort of just energy around you. And this is also about maybe, ironically, being on the, it's almost like you're on a rebound, right? And, there's been some difficulty, and then now all of a sudden something great has been handed to you. And there's this question of, do I deserve it? So this is working on healing the heart. It's working on tuning out the naysayers and the negativity. It's also about taking care of your mental and emotional well-being, however that works for you, whoever you need to reach out to. That's the important thing, because once you do that, you're going to be able to shine. And I love how bright this Emperor card is. And there's a lot of great things in store for you. So prioritize mental and emotional health, and allow yourself to accept opportunities without that sense of doubt. If you've earned them, you've earned them. The universe sees your value. All right, let's take a look now at Tuesday. This is the day to slow things down a little bit. So we have the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is a divinely timed card, even when it's inconvenient, even when you want things to move more quickly. Sometimes a person will cancel a meeting, rearrange your lunch appointment. Sometimes you're just not able to make progress. You may send out a bunch of letters, make a bunch of calls, but whatever it is you're trying to get to move forward, it's like crickets. So what you can do is, I always like to say, follow the energy. This one also kind of a lot of these match my shirt because I'm wearing a very earthy card, or very earthy shirt. So what I would say with this is ground yourself and say, all right, where's the energy? What can I do? Where can I feel sort of like productive today? And wherever that is, that's what the Hanged Man really wants you to focus on. Always worth mentioning the mythology, that something amazing happens with the Hanged Man. So in the traditional sort of myth of Odin hanging from the Tree of Knowledge, he had to basically be there for almost a week or week and a half, and then he learned the secrets of the runes. So he got something really good by being patient, a little bit of sacrifice of time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears. Something good came of it. So hang out for a moment where you're at and see if there isn't something great on the horizon for you. Just trust in what you've been doing so far. Tuesday is a day to slow down, work on yourself, work on other things, focus on wherever you can, where you see sort of like, a return on your energy. Okay, so that was Tuesday. Let's take a look at Wednesday next. Wednesday is the King of Cups. This is the day to hang out with other people. This is the day to go on a date. This is the day to do things that are creative. This is a really outspoken and sort of just really, out front center kind of card. Love it. Love that this is coming through in the midweek. Love that other people might be looking at you with this sense of like interest and joy. We also see a little crab in that card too. So there could be a Cancer in your life that's kind of prominently coming in, or a water sign as well. Great day for love, relationships, presentations, anything that you're going to do where you have another person or some other people in front of you and you want to make a good impact. Quite like this card. And it also marks a nice shift from what we were seeing here, where there might be some internal struggles going on and a feeling of being stuck. Wednesday is kind of like the most powerful, easy, auspicious day so far. Okay, let's move on to this joyous card here on Thursday. Another great day for being with people that you care about. We've got the Six of Cups. It is reversed. It's still a very positive card. The Six of Cups basically can be best friends, siblings, someone from the past. It can also be this King of Cups person. And what you realize is, wow, we have a much sort of deeper connection than I anticipated. Sometimes you're fortunate enough to meet someone and just become fast friends and think, I don't know how or why or when we met before, in what lifetime, but I'm glad it's sort of like a soul reunion. So if that's happening, celebrate that and embrace that. For the rest of us, what this can represent is people that we care about the most needing a lot from us. And what you can do this day is have better boundaries and say, yes to some people, no to some people, or if you need help, ask them. You've done a good job in your life of attracting this energy. It's your job to also speak up when you need something or when you like something and kind of let them know. So this is a day for the crow energy to come forth. Articulation, boundaries, discussing dreams and ambitions and all that stuff. Kind of get it out there with the people that you trust the most, okay? It's a great day for connecting. So we have 2 days where if you have an important meeting, you can do it in the midweek. You can also do it on Thursday. All right. Friday looks pretty good too. Even with the Prince of Cups in reverse, it's still auspicious. So this is basically saying you have a really good chance of getting whatever it is that you ask for. It is about a day, or it's a day where you want to prioritize yourself. So if you need help, if you need extra time, if you're short on money or resources, it's basically saying, ask for that. We have a bull on this card, which is a very auspicious, when we think of representation of Wall Street, you don't have a bear on Wall Street, it's a bull. So it's a time to sort of be bullish on your future. And again, if there's something that is necessary, both the crow and the bull are coming through to say, push to get that. This is also a day where you may decide to move time, energy, or resources toward you so that you can, maybe it's about taking a personal health day or deciding to invest in a class or training or to buy something equipment-wise or whatever. It's personal investment, and I approve of it because this is going to be something that's going to help you in the long run. When you're with people, they may ask more of you as well. This is another day with Six of Cups and the Prince of Pentacles. People may have no difficulty in saying, I need this or I want this. And so there might be a lot of questions and requests on your plate. So don't be afraid to push back or articulate when that is too much, okay? That's part of being a good leader, and leadership is definitely something that comes through this week. Okay, I'm liking what I see on the weekend. I'm loving how many partner cards we got this week. You have one here Wednesday, you have one on Thursday, you have another one on Sunday, a week from now. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about Saturday first. Saturday, we have the Seven of Cups. But the way this particular deck has illustrated it, by the way, it's the Sun and Moon deck, and you can go to my website if you want to look at all the decks that I use. You could be really thinking about someone. So the Seven of Cups can be distraction, obsession, confusion. It can also be brainstorming and researching. All of these things lack focus, though, because you're looking at all of these other things, and it's hard to sort of have one thing in the center of your mind. So you may be, some of you may have met someone this week or may be really wrapped up in someone else's affairs. It doesn't have to just be love. It could be a friend or family member that's sick or that's going through something really good or really challenging, and you're thinking about them. So the one thing that I would do is, if you need to call them or talk to them, get that done early so that you can focus on the things that matter the rest of the day. So that's the best way to kind of address or reach out or talk to that person first, then focus on you. If you're looking at a lot of different things in front of you, don't get lost in all of the sort of options, because sometimes with that, normally you would see all the cups in the sky and the person sort of thinking, what am I supposed to do? Sometimes when we don't have good leadership and there's just a bunch of things on your plate, it can be confusing. Speak up, the crow coming through again, and say, hey, I'm going to work on this, or I'm going to focus on this. Is it okay if you handle this? Or just ask a question. It's never bad to ask. It's always good to clarify. All right, focusing on a week from today, next Sunday, we have the Two of Cups coming through. What a beautiful card. What a great energy. What a nice trajectory for the next 7 days. So again, let me just say one thing. For those of you that are single and happy, we'll look at that when we do the special topic, but all of these partner cards, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and date people. It means that these are days where communication, partnership, and also negotiation are heightened. So this is a great day to have a face-to-face, even if it's a difficult conversation, especially if it's a difficult conversation, because the other person is more likely to receive, that's what we've got in the Two of Cups, receive the message. So use this as you will. But if you're looking for a week where you thought, I need to plan an event, or I need to meet with a few people, or I need to have a few discussions, it's looking pretty good this week, folks. Let's actually take a look at highlights and lowlights, and then we'll move into the elemental forecast. So the highlights and lowlights for this week, it's mostly highlights, I will say, but let's go to the people days. I think Wednesday is one of the best days of the work week. So if you need to get something done, you have a great chance. It's upright, it's a king card, so you're really kind of sitting in a great space. I think that spending time with the people that you love, more sort of intimate one-on-one conversations with people, Thursday is great for that. The Six of Cups, also really, really great. The King of Cups, just a little bit better than that, but they're both good and they're both people cards. This is a day where someone may actually ask a favor or need more from you. So this is a day where your boundaries are going to be important. Boundaries also going to be important on Friday. But I would say from the midweek on, we're looking at pretty good stuff. The other high point is Sunday. Two of Cups looking great. So Wednesday and Sunday, two of the best days. Thursday and Friday, 2 days where you're going to need to focus on boundaries. Tuesday is all about patience. And then power dynamics and speaking out are basically today, tomorrow, and a week from today. So overall, the lessons and the energies that you need to kind of deal with this week, I feel like it's all manageable. It's pretty good, right? This is a good week, folks. So a nice way to end this month and a nice way to start the next. And despite being in retrograde, it feels like things are moving exactly where they need to be. And that's why I try to have a positive look at energies like retrograde. All right, so give me a moment. I'm actually going to turn on my AC a little bit. It got warm in here. And then we're going to take a look at the elemental forecast where we focus on basically all of the different signs here. This is the only portion we're going to look at fire, earth, air, and water. Let me just turn on the AC and then we'll get started. Look at who I met right at the doorway. Mr. Apollo wanted to say hi. Thanks, buddy. Okay, let's see what we're going to look at for this. Okay, so thanks for being patient for a moment. We're going to look at fire, earth, air, and water. This is the only portion of today that is sign specific. Everything else that you see here is for everybody. All right. Fire, earth, air, and water. Now he's just showing his Yorkie side. He's a Yorkie in Lhasa Apso, so he likes to kind of dig in his bed. Someone said, does he have allergies? I said, no, he's just being a dog. All right, so we're going to focus on fire signs first. This is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We have the Nine of Cups energy coming through for you this week. It's a celebratory card, believe it or not. Like, this illustration is a little funny, the skeleton that can't have what he wants. But the Nine of Cups can be going to excess. I believe it came through maybe yesterday. It did come through as a one-card reading this week. So what I was mentioning this week with the Nine of Cups is remembering to keep your feet on the ground, remembering also not to lose yourself in the energy of emotions. And this card really speaks to excess. So in his lifetime, the skeleton from the movie enjoyed a good drink. As a skeleton, he can't really do that anymore. So it's also about finding new ways to experience joy. And sometimes it means looking at other aspects of your life where there's a blessing. And it's hard sometimes to see all of the blessings around us if we're used to receiving them in one way. So this is really saying move forward with gratitude on all levels, even when it doesn't feel like it's something that you can or should or normally are grateful about. So that's a very interesting illustration and also message that came through with this. Celebrate the little things, celebrate the big things. Sort of like connect with that. Say thank you to people around you as well. Love, joy, celebration, gratitude, they're going to be the key to opening doors, the key to being happier, and the key to sustaining things. Extremes are always going to be the things that take you out of your power, and that's basically the message of the Nine of Cups. Pretty good, because there's a little bit of, things to embrace and some things to avoid as well. So that's for my Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, all the fire signs. Let's move on to Earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The power of standing up for yourself and saying no. So we see here justice in the reverse state. Obviously, when it's upright, everything's hunky-dory, everything's balanced out. When it's reversed, oftentimes there could be people that are getting too much, asking too much, basically in a place where it just isn't what it should be. So it's a really important moment for you to basically say, this is where I stand, or that doesn't sound right, or we talked about this, we're not going to do this. So I would also lean on the facts, lean on the data, and allow that to help you as well. This can also just be cutting straight to the point. There's no sort of sugarcoating with justice, reversed especially. Use facts, use figures, get to the point, get in, get out, say what you need to say. If it is about, some of you might be deciding to fight for something that is unjust, and that's okay too. It's about setting the scales even, and also just finding work-life balance too. If your life is out of balance in any place, this is the week to set that as priority number one, okay? I feel because Earth is, by definition, grounded, you're gonna put an action plan in place, be successful at it. Justice usually gets what it wants, so good luck this week. I feel like you're gonna be able to find that even footing and that balance, and keep me posted. All right, let's move on to air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Movement, I love it. We have the Six of Swords on this one. And the Six of Swords is saying goodbye to something, hello to something new. It's the gentle release and acceptance of something that may be out of your control. And basically, this is interesting because normally we would see a ship, but this is saying change happens one step at a time. And with Six of Swords, with Four of Swords, a lot of times you just have to give it a little bit of, you have to give yourself a moment to adjust to all the changing and moving parts in your life. Travel could also be coming in or play an important part. You could meet someone while traveling, especially since we see guidance here. We see maybe the chance to bump into somebody. And you had so many Cups cards this week that came through that part of this is about sort of, a random, or maybe not so random. Maybe you just know that you want to be in a certain place at a certain time and you have the ability to bump into someone important. I like that. And also, in much the same way that we just talked about saying no, this is about moving on. Sometimes the best way to say no is just to move in a different direction. It doesn't have to always be articulation. It can just be saying, I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to move on to this. I'm going to focus on something else. The good news is that this is movement. Because it's a ship card, we can imagine that you are the wind in the sails because you're air. So all you have to do is continue to push forward and you're going to see progress. It's a great card. I like Six of Swords. You're not stuck when you see this. Things are moving towards a better horizon. All right, let's move on to my water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So for this one, there's a lot of ideas coming forth for you. So let's look at the card upright for a second. This is very magic infused because we have a magician on it, and he's waving his wand here. But the card is in reverse. So for some of you, there is this either internal disbelief. I don't know if I can do it. Someone else may come through and they're lacking faith. Maybe they're lacking vision too. So what you want to do is double down on your self-confidence and really make sure that you've got everything planned and mapped out. And once you've done that, you realize I've done everything I can do. I just have to show up. I'll show up and I'll keep putting out the positive energy, and eventually I'll start to see movement and momentum. It is about being open to feedback. It is about researching because the page is reversed. So it's saying open your mind and look and see what's out there. The owl energy comes through pretty strongly with this. You may just simply be more insightful or more intuitive than others, and you may need to find a place where that insight is supported, is embraced. because sometimes people just want black and white evidentiary sort of support. And when you're in the research development or innovation fields, you're going to have some of that, but there's also going to be a leap of faith. There's also going to be something where it's based on a hunch, and really good business people, they're operating with both data and also good gut instincts. So don't let people talk you down from a good gut instinct, because I see it here with the Page of Wands. Okay? All right. So we got through all of that, and now, folks, it's time for the special topic. Let me get all the cards here arranged nicely in front of us, and I'm going to decide which deck I want to use while we're doing that. While I'm getting everything set up, a quick reminder to hit like and subscribe. It helps with algorithmic things, helps people discover the channel. You can also find me across social media. I think I'm going to use this one here. Okay, I am ready. Let's go. So we're going to take a look now at the special topic. And again, the special topic this week is Soul GPS. What's the next move? This is for everybody that's present. All right, everybody, let's see what's coming through. We're going to begin here. Again, by the way, we're in the special topic here. So this is Soul GPS, what's coming through. We're going to start off with the Catalyst, and your Catalyst card is Freya. And let's take a look at the card in the upright position, even though it was reversed. The caption reads Irresistibility. And Freya, Friday, right? If I'm correct in Nordic traditions, Freya's day, Friday. So Friday is going to be an important day for things that are going to be more sort of like irresistible for others. So I believe it was a Pentacles card in reverse that day. So it's a good day to put things out for consideration, to ask for things too, because people may have a hard time saying no to you. Okay, I like this quite a bit. So Friday is another power day for negotiation, for people being drawn to you. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Freya's day is Friday. So that's going to be an important message here as well. I love the warrior spirit that she has. She has some bows and arrows. So we have archery, which is again targeting and asking for and kind of pinpointing what it is that you want. And the sword, which we also saw in justice. So speaking up, being specific, and putting things out there for consideration. Okay? All right. Let's get into the spread here and see what your soul wants, where it's been, where it's headed, what's knocking opportunity-wise. Let me take a drink before we do that, and then we'll continue. Alrighty, so smack dab here in the center, we have the Justice card. So the main thing right now is, and we saw this coming through for a few of the signs, but I believe was it the earth signs that got the justice card? But the main thing here is to find your footing. It is upright. So that tells me everybody has the capacity this week to basically be able to find solid ground. Okay. And let me pull this card really close because you can only see this detail if you look closely. So on Justice's chest, we see Medusa. If you look really quickly, can you see right there, the Gorgon? So that is indicating that people are willing and ready to stop and pay attention, maybe when they wouldn't before. And Medusa can also put a stop to things. We talked about stopping a cycle, stopping a broken record. I can't think of a better signal for pausing, stopping, or arresting something from happening than Medusa. She turns them to stone. So I like that quite a bit. This is also saying the power of looking someone in the eyes. That's how you can read them. That's how you can tell the truth. That's how you can also say, when you communicate, this is done or this is what I want, it's going to stop any sort of hesitation. So it's all in the eyes. That's basically another thing with Medusa. You want to make sure that there's eye contact to get the thing done, to set things in balance, to set things in motion. Okay? Crossing the Justice card, we have the King of Swords, speaking up. This is the crow energy again. This is a very interesting King of Swords. I've seen this in other decks. I'm trying to remember which other deck had this particular one. But anyway, we see there's a person actually holding onto a sword, which is not the way you want to grab onto a sword. So what this is saying is be very mindful of the words that you put out into the world, because they can elevate, but they can also come back at you. And you want to basically put things into the world that you would want to receive in thoughts, actions, and everything. And then also make sure that if something does come back, that you can stand behind it. So if you don't believe in something, don't say it and don't do it, because the words could come back to haunt you. We also see that person taking the sword from the king. He's lost control of the sword. This person is willing to injure themselves to grab control. So it's kind of an interesting combination between these two cards. Stand up for what matters and say no if someone's trying to do something. This is very Seven of Swordsy. Even though it's the King of Swords, this would be like the person from the Seven of Swords trying to get away with something. So I believe that it's important for you to speak up before something becomes the Seven of Swords. Use your power, use your, sort of platform to do good. And if someone says or does something that's not right, it's also time to move on, because we had the Six of Swords coming through for some of you as well. Otherwise, if we just look at this card as a traditional King of Swords, articulating yourself, communicating, and basically people care about what you say and do this week. So a little bit more of a spotlight, but in a good way. So mind your P's and Q's, but also don't be afraid to speak up. Deep past. The wait is just about over. The Hanged Man keeps making an appearance. This is one of the best illustrations of the Hanged Man, because we see the sort of cosmos behind him or through him. And it's saying, in the quiet, in the still comes the understanding, comes the clarity. It also is about healing the heart. And I remember the Three of Swords came through as a hidden influence on Monday. So I think, and then we got the Hanged Man, I believe it was around Tuesday. So all of this is nicely aligned with the 7-day forecast. Be still for those first few days of the work week and know that you're going to get your head on straight. You're going to be able to kind of clarify and see what's coming through. It may just take until the full moon for everything to kind of fully kind of clarify for you, so you can take those as time markers if you'd like. But everything in its divine time is what we get from this. Let's move on to what's going on right here, right now. Judgment, also a card that came through a couple days ago in my one card readings. Judgment reversed is really interesting because it's about getting over disbelief and also realizing that you can't control, we talked about this in my one card reading, but I can't make people do something. I can't control big things that are happening around me, like if a company's going to go out of business or something like that. But what I can control is my reaction to someone or my reaction to world events. What's the stress like? What am I going to do? Does this inspire me to change, etc., etc.? In this particular Judgment card, if we look at it upright, we see like a newborn here. which is cool. In the traditional one, we see souls rising from the dead. It's just a different take on it. It's saying it's a chance to be reborn. Some of you might be focusing on what's happened. Some of you might be focusing on what's possible. The thing that you don't want to do is doubt that you have a chance, a second chance or a chance, or the ability to reinvent or to push through. You do have a chance. This is basically the judgment can be either connected to spring or autumn. It's either something that's kind of phasing out or something that's coming through, and it's usually a little bit of both. It's not like summer or winter. You're somewhere in that liminal space. And in the liminal space, the in-between spaces, it's not always obvious. And so when we don't get the indications, we start to doubt ourselves. So your soul is saying, don't doubt yourself. The door, think of it more of like a revolving door in front of a company. So maybe you're just at a point where you can't see who's coming or going. That doesn't mean that nobody is coming or going or that you're not halfway through the door. Just keep it up. Keep focusing. Keep the movement happening. And I see this reinvention, rebirth, or movement on the horizon. One thing that this card also indicates is acceptance. So let's say something big has happened. Let's say that something's happening to someone that you care about, but you can't control it. This can be like an illness. This can be someone's passing. This can be something really positive too. Maybe they're getting married and you don't like who they're getting married to. Whatever it is, it's the universe or it's free will and it's not yours, but what you can decide to do is something with your life. So the universe, your soul, is saying, yes, that's happening. Yes, that's impactful. What's going on with you? What's next for you? Literally the title of this, we'll look at the cards, but it's more of a prompt. What do you want? That's what the universe is asking you. I can't answer that for you. I can just put the question out there and say, it's really important to know what you want. And not in vague terms, not in Seven of Cups terms, but more in, I want more of this in my life. And this would be maybe like time or energy or affection or whatever it is. Really focus on one thing that you want to cultivate so the universe can say, good, I'll be there. I'll help you. Let's do this together. Your crowning card is pretty darn good as well. We have the 10 of Wands. This 10 of Wands is also between spaces. There's a common theme here. And we're in a retrograde, so this kind of makes sense. What we see is that the burden is getting easier here. Okay, so we have someone that is carrying a heavy load and they're moving into this very kind of expansive state. So we see the stars and the hanged man. Just hang out a little bit, figure out what it is that you want, just push a little bit more, and things are going to start to get even bigger, bolder, and more expansive than you imagine. This is the hardest part, and the best is yet to come. With the card in reverse, for some of you, it's saying maybe you just need to take a few things off of your plate. You don't have to be everything to everyone. You might have too many things on your schedule. You may have just overcommitted in resources and your budget's tight. Something's going on where you're close to that final step, but you're tired. So whatever you can do to support yourself, to ask for support, remembering that irresistible energy came around Friday. And we also got that Pentacles card in reverse where I said, just ask for what it is that you need. You have a good chance. Well, this is the day to kind of ask for it. And this is the day where you can hopefully push through to the other side. Okay? So we have this beautiful Seven of Wands here coming through in the near future. Let's take a moment to see where it's leading us. So we have some partnership here. We have some balance coming in here. There's a little bit of blockage with you, but let's focus on this first. So this is what's in the near future. Seven of Wands energy. You're able to push to get something done. We see warriors here in this particular card. You don't have to fight alone. You don't have to do everything alone, and you don't need to get defensive. I like this card in comparison to the original one because whenever we look at the Rider-Waite-Smith card, the person looks a little grumpy. They look a little tired, and it feels like there's just a lot of people coming at them from a lot of angles. So here's your traditional Seven of Wands, and here's the sort of updated version. And this is saying, rather than trying to do it all on your lonesome, all on your own, reach out to people around you and see if there isn't a consensus on some things. Delegate. So if you're feeling a little bit, kind of like overwhelmed or feeling again like you've taken off too much and you can't chew all of it, then ask for some support, let go of some things, and together you can get it done faster, more effectively, and possibly without as much stress on your plate or on your back as well. Okay? Now let's look at you. It's an interesting card to come through representing everybody. So we've got the devil energy coming through, and the devil let's look at the traditional card for a second because I think it does a better job, and then I'll look at this one. So traditionally, I like to focus on devil energy as limits, anchors. I actually called it in a recent reading. It's things that can hold you back, hold you down, or block your view. And a lot of times this comes because someone around you simply doesn't want you to move forward. So in the traditional card, we have the chains. And if you look at the lovers, I won't go through the deck and spend the time on that. But if you put these two cards side by side, you'll notice it's very similar energy. You have two people typically not looking at each other. They're distracted in this particular illustration by the devil. But in the other one, it's the Garden of Eden, and they're happy and everything's good. So it's basically about getting back to a place where you can love, accept, and celebrate someone else unconditionally, or someone else can love you unconditionally. And what we see in this deck is someone pushing their will on others. So it can also be that kind of energy of pushing will. So either way you slice it, what we're looking for right now is someone that has more kindness. And in both of these, you can see this sort of controlling energy of the devil. So he's putting his hand up here and saying, my way or the highway. And in this one, he's putting his hands on people's heads and saying, this is how it has to be done. So I feel like it's time to get out of a kind of restrictive energy. And that was the sort of message for today. So if there's a person in your life that basically only wants it done their way, or won't listen or accept you the way you are, it's time to break free of that. This is also something that I would associate with addictions or habits that no longer serve you. So if there's something that you just need to kind of cut out of your energy, this is also what this is saying. Be real. This isn't probably the best time to sign a contract. If any contracts are coming through, you want to make sure that it's not self-serving for the other person. Fight for what's right. Literally at the center of the spread, we have the answer to this: justice. Just say, this doesn't work for me. I see you. I see what's going on. So don't let someone else take your energy or or what's rightfully yours. You have a lot of power cards: Justice, the King of Swords, and also the Queen of Wands, which is the next card here. So let's talk about what's going on in the environment. So you have the ability to step into this energy. Other people may see you as having boss potential. This is also someone around you. These two can also be connected. So this could be someone around you that is just used to getting their way. Because Queen of Wands in reverse, basically it is my way or the highway. And it's someone that also kind of comes in like a helicopter and is constantly second guessing your ability, your progress. And it starts to create this internal dialogue of doubt, which isn't super healthy to have. So if someone around you will not allow you to show your potential, it might be time to move in a different direction for that as well. Okay? This is also saying don't limit yourself, don't doubt yourself. You have the potential to lead. You have good ideas. You are worth it. Sometimes we just have people in our life that somehow say you're not worth it. So this is the antithesis of that. What's all of this kind of paying off to? Well, the opportunities this month and this week are symbolized here by the Lovers card. Lovers in reversed. So there could be someone coming in unexpectedly, inconveniently. There could be someone coming through and you second guess, am I deserving of this? Yes, you are if you've brought in this kind of energy. But you should also make sure that you're not settling for less than what you expect, that you're not trying to convince yourself to love or like or do something that isn't connected to your heart space. So you can say no if you don't want to do something. You can say no to someone if they're interested, but you're not. But if you're doubting your ability to be appealing, remember Freya came through and said, you're irresistible. So let's embrace that irresistibility, and especially when it comes to the end of the week, okay? Let me see if there's anything else here. I just love the sort of seasonality of this deck too, because we see spring and fall and basically growth throughout the year. So this is your season for love and expansion, and that's basically the opportunity here. Some of you might just be afraid to love again. So for those of you that might be on a rebound, and again, we'll look at relationships in a few minutes, but some of you may feel like, I don't want to get tied down into this. I don't want to have to fight for everything. I like my independence. So that's always something you can negotiate, and you can try to manifest a partner who has that equal sense of independence. You know, it's interesting that we have cat energy on this one of the wild cats, but cats in general have that sort of independence flair. You know, Mr. Apollo well, now he's in the other room, which is an example of that. He's really independent. I can only bring him up for a couple minutes, and he likes to he's very cat-like in that respect. He likes his belly rubbed, he likes to cuddle, when I bring him into bed, he likes to sleep at the foot of the bed. He's not right by me. He likes his space. I got a dog that enjoys quiet, and even just me talking so much, he wants to go in the other room and just chill while I'm doing this. So, you know, you might be pulling in a partner that has that same, you know, when we're together, but also we can be together, but not like in each other's energy. So put that into what you're trying to manifest if you're looking for that in a partner. Yeah, it's a puppy cat, basically. I like that. Yeah, dogs and cats don't always fit the mold. Sometimes there's cats that are super affectionate. He is, but he's a rescue. The thing with him is it's trust and it's space. And even when I get a little animated when I talk, and it just makes him a little bit nervous because of his history. So I totally respect that. Okay, all of this week is about helping you find your balance. And we also have balance in relationships here because we also have lovers on this card. There's a lot of relationship dynamics that are coming through. I've been using different decks, but we keep getting those kinds of cards. Let me just double check as I was talking here, but I believe this one was reversed. Yes, it was. Okay, so with this being reversed, it's the same as saying no. So Justice upright is asking for what you need. Six of Pentacles reversed. Let's just look at the traditional card while we're doing this. This one is basically about not being afraid to say yes to one thing, no to another, or asking for what it is that you need. Not always easy to do. We've been trained in some cultures and some, depending on when you were born, to just basically not rock the boat. And, you know, it's important to be able to sometimes rock the boat a little bit. Here's your traditional Six of Pentacles. Not everybody can have everything at once. That's basically, this is the adulting card, if you will. So as an adult, you realize you can't have it all the time, all at once when you want it. A lot of times you have to pace and space things out a little bit. So this is having more than enough, but not all when you want it. So if you are realistic, if you are very adult about resource management right now, and in this case, it could be resource management with the people you love the most. They want all of you. And so everyone wants a piece of you. So this is more like resource oriented. This is more affection oriented, and it could be either way, which is why I'm showing both cards. So if it's people that just want your time, that can be just as taxing as, you know, any other resource in your life, as your money, for instance. So stand up for yourself and find that balance. Okay, let's go ahead now, and we're going to expand this a bit, and we're going to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And this is multifaceted and multi-part. We're going to start off with the health card, which is mind, body, and spirit. All of the disclaimers apply here. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. What I am is an intuitive, and what I'm going to help you do is see the energy, and you can make the decision that's best for you. The health card here, seat of the heart. And we see here that it's not seat, but seed. This is very nicely connected to the Hanged Man, because the Hanged Man is about focusing here in this particular illustration on the heart. What does your heart feel? What are you sensing in this moment? It is about insight. It's basically 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the higher chakras that are coming through on this. But this card is saying, and it was upside down, so it's connected with that. It really doesn't matter with this illustration, but what does your heart say? What does your heart want? Are you planting seeds of joy, desire, curiosity for the future as well? Expecting things to just come to you is passive. Setting intention and also setting into motion things that can and will be is more proactive. So this card is saying be proactive. If you're unhappy, create a plan to create more happiness in your life or more fulfillment. So if you don't like the job, maybe it's getting training. If you don't like the relationship, it could be therapy. It could be talking to friends. It could be moving out. There could be all kinds of things, but it's asking what's the next step? What are you doing to plant seeds? I recently put another pot on the porch where I have like an amaryllis that's going to grow. That's going to take 6 to 8 weeks. 2 to 3 months from now, we'll see a beautiful flower. But you have to plant things in advance to be able to enjoy them. So just like we would plant in the garden, same thing here. Plant something, and then it gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something to basically invest in and put your energy behind. All right, let's specifically look at what's coming through for health and well-being with the same message that I'm not a doctor, but I'm looking at energy patterns. The main thing here is to be honest with yourself. The devil is basically the universe coming through and saying, I see you, I see what you're doing. Is this really what you want to do? Is there any places that you can make a little bit more headway in, and are you truly ready for something? Don't make a promise if you can't keep it. That's the main thing there. If you need help, ask for help. This can be someone that's coming through like a physical trainer or a personal trainer, or someone that might be like a therapist that's coming through to give you insight to help you break the habits. This is the support and success that follows, so we can break through there. I see you very close to completing something. You don't have to do it alone. I see the ability, again, lots of options here to speak up, to say no, to have good boundaries. That just comes through time and again. Imagine a different and or better future. See yourself as worthy, as desirable, as being someone that is deserving of this lover's energy that's coming through too. It's hard sometimes to accept that you're worth it, but you are. And this is a safe space for everybody, so I try to encourage those who show up here. I like to see a little more movement whenever the Hanged Man is coming through in the deep past. So some of you may be afraid of an injury, and again, working with a trainer or a professional would be good with that, but there seems to be some stagnation here. If there is some sort of a setback, Judgment and the Devil represent a close call, but probably one where you're going to come through okay. So take that as a wake-up call, basically, is what I see with this. And just focusing on balance, and with the Ten of Wands, it's saying that you might be carrying too much emotional weight or too much physical weight, like if you're lifting heavy things, and that could stress out your back. So whether it's your back or your brain that's getting a lot of stress, finding that balance is going to be key right now. Okay? That's the message for health. Let's move on to wealth. If you're a student, it's your trajectory. If you're mid-career, it's what you're working on. If you're retired, it's your resources and life purpose. So what we have going on here is healing. And I mentioned that some of you might be on a rebound. So some of you might be on a rebound from a job. Some of you might be just freshly retired. You might be out of school, and it's this in-between zone. I love that we have a peacock on this card, and that's basically saying be super bold, be very... it's about like not being afraid to sort of speak up or put yourself out there. Show your true colors. To me, the peacock is connected to the star card because it's bold, right? The card is in reverse, so some of you might have a hard time coming out of your shells. Lord Ganesha is coming through saying it'll be okay. Part of it is also getting around people that might be a little bit more of a social butterfly or a social peacock that could help you feel comfortable in your skin. If you ever hang out with someone who's really just embraces themselves, you feel more comfortable. You're like, I just look average next to this. No, it doesn't matter who I am. So maybe hanging out with people that are really comfortable will help you come out of your shell a little bit. And they're not going to think anything of it. So that could be part of this, is getting in social environments that are very welcoming, where there's a lot of like butterfly, peacock energy, where it's just bold and bright. And that's going to help you be bold and bright too. Okay. If you're not getting that at work, by the way, or if you're not getting that at home or whatever your environment is, this is a time to seek a different environment. Let's look specifically at your sort of resources and money, because this particular card represents that. I do see balance coming in. I do like that we have the Six of Pentacles. I see a lot of people around you with the Seven of Wands and the Lover's card, and also some power energy around you between the King of Swords and the Queen of Wands. So I like where you're at, and I like the potential. The only thing is, this person can be bossy, but the King of Swords can totally match the energy of the Queen of Wands. She's just bold and does what she wants. He will stop and say, wait a second. Use your voice. This is basically what's coming through right now. Use your voice and stop this, because these two are connected. Then I see support here. Maybe you're the voice of reason at work or in a sort of social situation or something. So don't be afraid to put a stop to something. Let me take a drink and see what else is coming through. Okay, Judgment reversed. It's not the end of the world. It's not, basically, there's souls rising from the dead in this card. So something may be coming to a close, but it's not the end. It's a new beginning. And that's what I see here. So something may have already run its course. You may have waited and stayed in something longer than you needed to. Now is the time for movement. Now is the time for change and reinvention, as we talked about earlier. You will heal. You will get through this. It may be challenging, but on the horizon is partnership and balance. So moving through this moment, speaking up, and finishing what you've started, all of these things are advantageous. Let's move on to love and relationships. Romantic, platonic, friends and family. We have the tiger energy coming through on this one. Bold and strong and basically swift too. I like it. So when it comes to people coming into your life, it could happen faster than you think. There's also a stealthy nature to this. And so someone could take you by surprise. You may take someone else by surprise, but it's positive when I'm looking at that tiger energy. So let's focus now on the 3 different aspects of relationships that I like to look at. Those that are in love, looking for love, or happily single. If you're in love, you can also look at this as the person that you unconditionally love the most. It doesn't have to be romantic. Here's what I see for those loving relationships. It's important to, these are 2 balance cards. Like typically, as you saw a moment ago, this card holds the scales, okay? So we have scales here and scales here. So it's really important for you to speak your mind and achieve the balance you need in your life. Some of you, the split isn't even. So, the 10 of Wands is carrying the major load. The 7 of Wands, not as much. Someone's really good at pushing back or delaying. Another person will just say, well, I'll do it. So it might be more about saying, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I need your help on this. And if it doesn't happen, it's going to we'll fall short of things. I want to see more of an even match with the energy there. So I think finding a way to delegate, finding a way to find more equity is going to be important there. Some of you may be moving out of a relationship or negotiating a prenuptial because this is legal and this is legal. And this is kind of struggling a bit or going back and forth on the legal nature of this. It feels like you can work through this and it feels like you can find the happy medium. So if you're getting out of a relationship, we want to avoid all or nothing. That's what this is. There has to be some sort of a balance and it has to be a more even balance than we're seeing. This is someone who wants everything. This is probably what the other person's going to counter, and this is the compromise, like 60-40 or something like that. But I see an ability to find the split that you're looking for if you're trying to negotiate that. If you're trying to negotiate prenuptial, same sort of thing. Make sure that you're not being left out in the cold on this. For those of you that are happily in the middle of a relationship, nothing's entering or exiting, then what we see here is looking at important things like estate planning, future, looking at planning for retirement, planning for college education, making sure that you have enough, making sure that you're both feeling supported. It's still an exchange of energy, no matter if you're beginning, ending, or in the middle of a relationship. This can also be, for some of you, either something that hasn't come to the surface, a secret or a fear or a desire. The most important thing is simply to articulate what's going on. You have love and unconditional love there. And if it can't sustain whatever it is that you're holding on to, then it's better to know that sooner than later. But I do see favorable cards when we look at future states here. 7 of Wands, stand up for what's important. 6 of Pentacles, getting what you wanted, getting most of what you wanted. And the Lovers here, doing so amicably. So I feel like everything's manageable this month. And if everything's okay, there could also be something out of your control in the environment. Let's say everything's hunky-dory. The devil still is playing a part here, which is saying, I can't control that. Sometimes when a person has a terminal illness, you can't control that. You can control how you're going to react and how you support them. That's what you can control. So it's finding where you can find your balance. That's going to be the important thing, and how you can be the best for one another. And that's that. All right, looking for those that are single and looking for love. Whether you're single and looking or in a relationship, you have a karmic partnership. Judgment is past life. So there's definitely karmic energy in the past. It feels like if I look at the karma here in both current relationships and those that are pulling in relationships, because it's the same, the tricky thing is patience. The Hanged Man is about like one person had to wait for the other before, and now the tables have turned. So you can't force someone or something. So if someone doesn't want to return the invitation, I would say the important thing is to shift your energy somewhere else. It either fits or it doesn't. They're either interested or they're not. And you have other options on the horizon. Dare I say that the karmic relationship that may first come through may not be the best match. It feels like there's something better waiting. So if you don't like the karma or the way that it's working, then there's something else. You get a bunch of choices this month. You don't have to settle. That's the main thing. Don't settle for something that's less than what you want. This could also be a Capricorn coming through. There's a sensuality to this Capricorn. They need a lot emotionally. So make sure that that's something that you're ready and willing to give, because we have a lot of sort of sensual energy in these cards. And if that's not something that you want, then be honest with them, or vice versa. Okay. Other than that, I would say what's important right now is to get all of your affairs in order. So taxes, legal matters, things of that nature. If you've moved, let the dust settle. It feels like you can create some new relationship energy this month, but focus on self first and getting everything taken care of first. If you're single and happy, it feels like it's a really good time to be single and happy. Some of you might be moving in, moving out. Some of you might be focusing on networking, and that's a really good thing right now. And I see better abundance coming through for you in this period of time. And I think it's a good time to be patient with yourself and just work on yourself, most importantly. Okay, let's move on to your destiny card. This is a trajectory that changes from month to month. This month, we're seeing basically one of my favorite symbols, the hummingbird. It says, be here now. The presence of mind, the presence and just sort of gratitude of being in this moment is basically what this card is saying. It's also a really fast moving one too. So if things were slow before, and for some of you, it feels like you've been waiting and waiting and waiting. So the hummingbird is the antithesis of the hanged man. So I like that. Whenever this comes through as a personal totem, it's usually my guide saying, look up, look around, change your perspective. It's going to be okay. You may not know how or why yet, but it's going to be okay. Being present, being aware, and drinking it in. We see, I think it's plumeria that it's probably, or hibiscus. It's hibiscus. But the hummingbird basically sips and drinks in every moment of the day. So it reminds us to do the same, because a lot of times we're looking at our watch, we're looking at the schedule, we're looking at the phone. We're not looking within and around. So put the phone down, take a deep breath, look outside. One thing that I love about being by trees is the birds visit me all the time, and I can, I'm very close to nature. So just take a moment to sit outside, even if it's on your porch, and just kind of listen. If I were to open the door, there's birds in the background right now. You can't hear because the gates or the windows blocking it out, but I can hear birds behind me, which I like. So it's reminding me just to kind of quiet down for a moment, right? So that's what I'm getting with that. So let's take a quick look at everything, and then we'll pull a big idea for this entire spread. So summing it up with the question, like where to next? Looking specifically at the where to next, it's basically saying more partnerships on the horizon for you. The Seven of Wands is not a lonely card. You don't have to hold everything up alone. You don't have to accept the first thing that comes on your plate. You have a very sort of attractive energy right now. Dare we say irresistible energy. Friday is a day where that's going to shine through the strongest. So really put yourself out there as a networker, as someone that can kind of like connect with these energies and find the balance, negotiate the balance. Don't accept less than what's right for you. So let's move on to a big idea energy and see what is the answer to the question, what's next? So in one card, no pressure to this card, what's next? We have Two of Pentacles, which I love. Okay, so the Two of Pentacles. I love this card because it's saying, sometimes this is seen as being neither here nor there. This is saying you're connected to both. So this is the, let's say it's it could be the moon in this particular card, but it's the moon and the earth here. So are you leading or are you following? Is basically what I'm getting with this one. And typically with the Two of Pentacles, there's a question. Where do you stand and what do you want? You can't have everything all the time. You can't be everything to everyone. And unlike the Six of Pentacles, where you have some choices, here's your traditional Six of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles is really asking you to choose one thing and focus. So this week, you can put that other pentacle to the side and say, this is my seed, this is my my desire, this is the energy where it's an Ace of Pentacles, basically. So this is the ace that I want to focus on, and I want to see movement in that. And by doing that, I'm going to feel a sense of focus, purpose, movement, and I'm not going to feel like I'm pulled in two directions. The gravity can now just go in one direction. So making a decision this week on one thing and putting your gravity, your energy, your movement behind that, that's the advice here. And you have potentially, this is the cool news here, you have two different aces. You just need to focus on one ace right now. The big ace here is the earth here. So it's sort of like stay grounded on the one thing where you can feel the most energy and the most connection to. And I feel like that's going to bring you in a really positive trajectory. All right, we're going to focus now on the meditation, and then we'll pull a final card. For today's meditation, I think that the thing that we can focus on the most is opening up the heart space, because we have a few cards here, like the Hanged Man, where the focus is on the heart. We have this card showing the heart being the seed or the seat of what's going to come through. And I think that's going to be key to your happiness right now. So focus, if you will, on your mind, on your body. Close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. And if there's a question that you have before we go into the meditation, you can write it down if you want to, because I'm going to pull one more card at the end. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, we'll get some clarity on that. First things first, though, go into your heart with your thoughts and with your energy. And as you breathe, let go of whatever it is that might be holding you or anchoring you down. Breathing out like this puff of smoke, all of the sort of debris, all of the cloudiness, all of the stuff that's been kind of holding on to your heart space like barnacles. Do that a few times. Feel that your heart is growing, is breaking free, is starting to expand. Focus on the color green and see, kind of like behind me, this beautiful green energy starting to expand from the center of your chest. Imagining now that you are kind of like Mother Nature, or like you have like a green thumb. Everything that you touch and everything that you look at, you see this beautiful bright green energy surrounding it. See it surrounding you. See it surrounding the thing that you're asking a question about. See it with the people that you love, the dreams in your life, all of this stuff being blessed by the energy of fertility, abundance, and love. Love is the language of the universe. It's how the divine communicates with us. So love yourself, love what you're doing, love what's around you. That gratitude and that love is going to bring more abundance in your life. Let's let the energy of love course through us for a moment or two as I play the singing bowl, and then I'll take a look at one last card for today, and that will be the reading. So just breathe, relax, and I'll be with you again in just a few moments. Take a deep breath. See yourself in a beautiful, bright, garden. This is the garden of your soul, and anything that you put in this garden, you're going to see growth, movement, and abundance. So imagine now that you have this dream, this wish, this Ace of Pentacles, and you're going to scoop up the ground beneath you, plant that seed, and know that it's just a matter of when and how, not an if. When and how is this going to come through? So this week you're going to pay attention to your signs and signals and be open to love, abundance, and opportunity now in the highest forms. All right. Welcome back, everybody. If you haven't already opened your eyes, please open your eyes now. I'd like you to turn your attention from the meditation to your body again, and now to the question that you have for me. I'd like you to focus on that question as I shuffle the cards, and let's see what the universe brings through. We have an Ace of Swords, and it's a beautiful Ace of Swords. So this is saying take action, make an action plan. An Ace of Swords can basically be a pen or a pencil. And so one way to create action is to send an email, to state something audibly, verbally to the universe. It's also to take physical action. It's taking it from wands and thoughts, or even Seven of Cups, and bringing it into the physical realm. So it's words, thoughts, and actions. And that's what you want to focus on this week. Words, thoughts, actions. How can you bring this seed, this desire, this new thing into fruition through words, thoughts, and actions? It's a great day, and it's a great week to write some things down. So planning is power, because you're putting the intentions on paper. You're speaking it, you're writing it, you're doing it. So I'd love for you to pick a day this week to basically do some of that planning work and speak to others about what you want to do, because when you speak about your dreams and your goals, it brings it into the real world, brings it from here and here, at least in vibration and frequency outside of you. So this is basically about getting it from here into the world around you. And you'll see movement if you do that. And it's a yes. This is an affirmative. Some of you are signing a contract. If you're signing a contract, negotiate if it's not fair. I like what I see. That's basically it for the final card. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. Happy birthday, Dakota. Thank you for your help over the past couple of years with moderation. Thank you, everybody, for showing up here and being a part of this. I like to always end with gratitude. If it's your first time here, welcome. Do me a favor if you haven't already, and hit the subscribe and like button, and join me on social media. A quick reminder, I don't offer private readings. Anyone that offers one is not me. Anyone that direct messages you is also not me. The only way to connect with me is here in a live stream. If you want to show some love and support, you can do that through a super sticker, super chat, or super thanks. And I'd like to say thanks to all of you. So for those that did give back or recently joined as a member, let me take a couple moments here just to express my gratitude, and then we'll wrap up. While we're doing that, a couple of quick scheduling notes. I haven't put the videos up for this week, but my standard schedule applies. I'll be live on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll be looking at the next month. So we're entering into May, so I'll be starting to read for June this week. So keep an eye out for that. The times sometimes fluctuate a little bit, but the days are always the same. So later today, I'll put it up and you can set a reminder. And I'm here every weekend and here every day with the one card reads as well. All right, so I can't read the entire name, but I'm just going to say not as crazy. Thank you so much for becoming a new member. Simone, thank you as well for rejoining. Good to have you back. And I think that's everybody from today, so I appreciate that. Let's see who gave back with super stickers and super chat, and then we'll wrap up. All right, so the supers for today. Thank you so much to the following. Let's see here. It looks like Million, thank you very much. Suzanne, Liz, Jody, Yoga Rising, Diana, Paula B, Renita, Pearl, Jeannie, Shelly, Diana, is that twice there? Thank you, Diana, for the 2. I appreciate that. Enzo, good to see you. And Carol, I think I got everybody. Let me just double check here. We got a couple new ones here. Kathy and Nicole, thanks for those late additions as well. And I think I said thanks to Carol as well. There may have been some member milestones as well. I can't always see those when I click into the tab. So to anybody that celebrated a milestone, thank you as well. I'm sure Dakota said thank you. All right, everybody. It looks like some exciting energy is coming through in this week ahead. And I want to remind you, sorry, I put the final card there instead of thanks. I want to remind you that this week you are irresistible. Friday's going to be a powerful day to put that energy out there. And again, from me to you, much abundance, much love, much gratitude. Have a great week, everybody. And thanks again for spending some time with me. I hope you're having a great one. Bye-bye.